Hi, my name is Simone Padour, and this is Cara Wright, and we're doing some Vivid Talk. And we're looking at the contribution your baby is to you that you might not be aware of.
Absolutely. This is something that would come up a lot in my classes, my yoga classes, when I used to teach prenatal and postnatal yoga. One of the things that is really common when when you're going to be pregnant, you're looking at being a mom, you're pregnant already, is there's this idea that your whole job is to take care of this being, to take care of this baby, that it's your job to conceive it, it's your job to grow it, it's your job to, you know, birth it, take care of it. And so many women get so incredibly focused on that. Nobody's actually willing to look at what would this baby like to contribute to you? Like, what if babies are not, you know, the only the receiver of all of the things when they are coming to this plane? What if they're actually desiring to contribute to you and desiring to contribute to your body? There would be so many times where women would show up in class and they would be exhausted, and they would even be having things going on like low blood sugar, or advanced swelling, or some of the things that are like pretty common for pregnant bodies. And we would have conversations around it, and what would show up is this area of where they were so focused on what they were providing for the baby, whether it be emotionally or physically, that there was no consideration for, is this baby actually trying to gift you something? Would it like to contribute to your body? Like, the idea that a baby body that's growing in a woman can actually contribute an energy that assists the mom's body, no one talks about that. Like, that is like an unspoken thing. And yet these women, if just giving them that information of like, hey, would you be willing to just allow this baby to contribute to you? Whatever that looks like, take a nice tub and allow them to contribute. Just be open to it. Stop thinking that it's all you and that it's all about what you can give. What if it's also about what you can receive? And what is it that they're trying to gift you, communicate to you? What are they trying to create that you're just not aware of because you're got blinders on about, like, no, I'm the one that's doing all of this? What if they're a little bit more involved in the process and desire to be more involved in it than you've been willing to allow them to be?
Well, it's interesting as you talk about it because I, when you talk about babies, to me, and I've heard people say that, like before the age of 2, they're more like animals than they are like people.
Yeah.
Um, and that's my sense when you're talking about them contributing to you. Like, when you're ill, your dog or your cat like snuggles up to you and is just this warm presence and comforting, and or if you're sad, they're there for you. So my sense is, like, why would a baby be any different?
Exactly. And one of the things that also shows up is that, what if babies actually have experiential awareness and knowledge? Like, what if they could actually tell you, hey, I don't eat this food, or hey, eat this? Or if you like, what if they could actually also give you direct information about what you may or may not require that you're not aware of? It sounds a little strange, but if women will go on the journey of going like, okay, like, I don't have to tell anybody, it could be just for me, just for fun, and I'm gonna, I got the hit to eat walnuts, just as an example, and you do, and it changes something for you. Like, what if that is not as crazy as you think it could be?
Well, and I mean, you hear lots of women talking about, cravings that they have, strange cravings that they have. Like my mom loved Indian food when she was pregnant with my brother, had to eat it all the time. Um, so like, what if it's as simple as that? Like, it doesn't have to be weird. It just is.
It just is. And sometimes the your baby has more information about what's going on for you or your body than anybody else. And what if they're actually a co-creator in the whole process of all of this, not just um, kind of like a ride along? What if they're far greater than that? And yeah, would you be willing for that to actually be what is true?
Wow. So can you give me a like a story or an example of, where somebody actually did acknowledge or change something with them and their body and their baby?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with a lot of women who had a lot of morning sickness. Like that's one of the things that can show up where, there's a lot of not being able to eat, feeling nauseous, vomiting a lot, and all of that kind of stuff. And when we have opened the lines of communication between them and the being, really by like, hey, do you know you can actually have this conversation? And they start being in the question of like, eat this or don't eat this, or how much do I eat? When do I eat? Is it eating? Is it drinking? And you start to include the energy of your baby in those questions and follow that accordingly. So many of them have gotten over their feeling sick.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, just the acknowledgement of the energy of the baby will shift someone's morning sickness. Because one of the things I think shows up is that you become pregnant. There are a lot of hormone changes in your body, of course. And also, there's this energy of this baby now in your space. And sometimes for people who are really sensitive, that in itself is going to, if you, especially if you're not, if you just like, oh, I'm just 3 weeks pregnant. Mm, your body might be just 3 weeks pregnant, but now you have this being in your space. Like that can create that sense of like nauseousness and not being able to eat and dizziness and things that women will experience if we brush off like, oh, that's this and this and this. It's all physical stuff. It's like, what if it is something else? And sometimes just going like, oh, I'm not just 3 weeks, like there is this energy here, and just acknowledging it can start to shift that as well.
It's like having a very intimate roommate.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And it's like that kind of stuff is like, oh yeah, of course, like there's an adjustment period. But for whatever reason, we just kind of never mind that it is a big change, even when you're
They're in your face.
thinking about like, oh, I think we're going to get pregnant. Okay. And oftentimes it's like they're right there. It's like the difference between, someone standing across the room from you and someone standing next to you. Like it's different. So if you don't acknowledge that, then it can be weird and stuff can show up. So yeah. What if they're far more
Yeah.
dynamic
Oh,
and far
interesting.
more present than you've ever been willing to acknowledge?
I love it. That's amazing.